What is up, Evil Dead fans? We're going to cover a lot of stuff. I'm going to cover some cons that are coming up, what I'm going to do in the future with cons, conventions. If you don't know what cons means, I'm sure you guys do. And a lot of the details that I've done so far on this new Hero Saw. First thing I got to do is give a shout out to Brandon Berry and feature presentation out of New Hampshire. They were at Rock and Shock. If you missed Rock and Shock, I heard it was a great time. A lot of the Knights of Samaria members were out there, and Brandon Berry feature presentation, all one and the same. He is one of the owners. His Evil Dead 2 cabin was a huge hit, and it was what I was told was an amazing time and just amazing detail to the set. My Necronomicon was there. I let him do whatever with it. I think I've talked about that before, and some people took photos with it with Bruce Campbell, which was pretty neat to see. And if you want to see that cabin, now this isn't finalized, but it's planned, but it's not finalized. The next time that it's going to be at a con is going to be December 6th through the 8th at Stafford Springs, Connecticut, at the Wicked Weekend. I'm sorry, I'm reading at the same time, obviously. Wicked Weekend. Kids are free. I think it's $25 a day pass. It's all weekend long. Some of the people are coming. It's going to be Kane Hodder. You're going to have Bill Mosley. You're going to have a Child's Play reunion. You're also going to have a few different things going on. You know, cons have very many different things coming on. Cabin Fever, Child's Play reunion, both are going to be there. That's going to be a neat time. If you have any questions or you want to see details about it, if you're in that area or if you want to know more about it, go to thewickedvault.com. And go check it out. And if that cabin's there, you got to go see it. And apparently the ladies of the Evil Dead checked out the cabin, and they just were blown away on the accuracy, and it reminded them of being at the actual cabin. So definitely got to check it out. And a big shout out to Brandon Berry and feature presentation for their display and what they've done for that con and what they've done for me as well. And if there's any Knights of Samaria members who want to do something or go to a con that's in the area or want to go to something like that, that's a good one to go to. But if you're looking for somebody to do displays for your con or anything needed to that extent, get a hold of Brandon Berry on Facebook, get a hold of a feature presentation on Facebook, talk to them, and I'm sure they will do a great job for you. Everything I've seen from them is incredible. So, another thing to cover is the 3 for 3 that I talked about a long time ago when I said I was done making chainsaws. That is on hold until we start molding bodies, because home lights are becoming very, very scarce right now. And it's not conceivable to buy a bunch of home lights for hundreds and hundreds of dollars to just give away at the moment. So once we start molding bodies, I'm working with Chris Pollock on doing that. Once we start molding the actual home light bodies and we have an abundance of them, then that's when that's going to happen. I already have the names picked of who's getting what. So I already have the 3 picked. So you just got to be patient. I don't know when we're going to get them molded. It just takes time. There's a lot of things going on. Also, next year, what cons will I go to? I'm not sure what cons I will go to. There's one that might be brand new that I might be going to. The only thing that I know is the ones that I'm going to go to or events I'm going to go to is ones in the New England area or around the Pennsylvania area. That's where I'm going to be next year. And when I know, I will let you guys know. I'm sure I probably won't have a booth there because I probably won't be selling chainsaws or anything like that. But I'll be helping out with a bunch of my friends who will have booths there. And if you see me, come say hi. And I'll talk chainsaws or whatever you want to talk about. I don't mind that stuff. I was at the Chicago Horror Con this past year. I don't know if I'm going next year. But in Chicago, I met a lot of really cool people. And that's a lot of reallys. So I don't know if I'm going next year. I might not. It just really depends on what happens with these other cons that I'm talking with other people about. Because I want to make sure when I'm there, I'm going to bring as many Knights of Samaria members as possible. And like I said, if you're going to be in that area of Stafford Springs, Connecticut, and you want to go to Wicked Weekend, if you're a Knights of Samaria member, go check it out. $25. If you're an adult, $25. Kids are for free all weekend long. $25 per day for an adult. Right. And I think it's 12 and under or 12 and up is considered adult. You'll have to check out the website. It's thewickedvault.com. So with that being said, guys, let's get into the new details of this hero saw that I'm doing. It's all blasted apart, but I can go over new details with it right now, and it's just about done. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at the handle here. You can see right here, you can still see the line. Now what I did to weather it, or to texture it to make it match with the tip so it wasn't super smooth up there, is I did the same method that I do is when I use that texture paint that I always talk about. I lightly used it, did a light spray, and then did a light sanding, and then hand painted it black instead of the spray paint so it wasn't as vibrant. I wanted to give it keep that old kind of crusty look. That handle that I'm getting the screen caps from really have a beat up look just because that chainsaw was beat up, but I didn't want to make it too beat up because this chainsaw won't be post-production beat up is what I'm saying. And also the handle doesn't have all the little nicks and stuff in there like it was on post filming with that chainsaw. Now what I did is I matched up as close as possible every single paint line, from the silver to the black to the nuts and bolts. The grill's not fully painted, so don't look at that. The whole, where the paint's faded with the hole all the way through the top. Now when it comes to the bottom of it, I'm gonna wait for that until it's fully completed, just because there wasn't really any screen caps I could get from that specific saw, so I found one that could possibly be that chainsaw, and that's what I'm gonna use for it. I had the reference nuts, bolts, placement of certain things, especially the grill. Because the screen cap I took the bottom from, I checked out the thickness, and the thickness is spot on. It is spot on with it. You can see I got some weathering here, but I'm glad I did that because that is on the one that I'm basing it off of. But I can't fully do it until the other side's done. Notice the hanging pull string. And one thing I want to definitely mention is you can notice here that there's a different connector right here. Now I weathered it to look exactly like the screen cap that I got for that specific chainsaw. Now this is one of those hex bolts. It is metric, and I know it's the right size just because it only comes in this length at the longest. I'm not sure on the length. It is a 4mm bolt hex head without any, like, you know, flat tip screwdriver. You can't use a screwdriver with it. Basically, it's flat like that, but it's in the hex shape. Notice I have the original body bolts here because this one that I'm basing off of did have the original body bolts, except for right here. That one had a different body bolt. So let's get into the top. All right, so here we have the top. The first thing you're gonna notice is the top handle. Here it's nice and clean. I didn't want to go with the look of the post-production because the photos I've got, these are actually, this right here, this wood part is actually cracked up and busted up. The tape is really messed up. So what I had to do is find this chainsaw from season 1 and emulate the tape. From this side, you can definitely see that there is, you can barely see the split. Barely see it. But on this side, you got the proper split. When it comes to the paint on the handle here, it's sealed up. I'm just letting it do a natural dulling right now. You'll see a bunch of nicks and things in it. Those are where exactly they're supposed to be from the photos that I have of the screen caps that I'm basing this off of. So if this part doesn't dull down enough, I'm gonna have to dull it down myself with paints and things like that. Another thing you'll notice that this chainsaw is a lot darker than a lot of the other ones. And all the silver detail up here is exactly where it needs to be. The toggle switch over here, it's got the right amount of threads showing, right weathering this hexagonal, whatever the hell, fastener, that's what I call it. Fastener's in the right position, and it's looking good. Another thing with the top handle, you'll see right here how that's at a really severe angle, and the back is not. So that's a different thing than you usually see in a lot of the Ashford Steel Bit chainsaws. So far, I basically have the paint matching on this as close as possible. I may have to revamp a little bit if this doesn't dull down. maybe dial back some of the black in different spots when I re-look at it when it's completely done. But so far it's perfect. I mean, it's exact. The angle of the handle is exactly where I need it to be. Right there, you can see how it's kind of somewhat of more of a severe bend right here versus back here. That one had it. So this one I'm really doing is the Hero saw that you see hanging on the wall, but at the same time, it's not going to be beat up. I don't want it to be beat up as it is right now because it's kind of busted up. So I have to remake this chainsaw to the smallest detail and make it look pristine at the same time. So I'm gonna be happy with it. I'm not 100% happy with this chainsaw, but it's getting there. There's a lot of things I got left to do. I still got to finish the other side of the chainsaw, repaint the grill, get that weathered correctly, and all the weathering for the other side and whatnot. But it should be done this week. And I decided the bar I'm gonna do with it isn't gonna be the one that's with the auction photo, because that one wasn't the one that was on there on the scene I'm using, the very, very first scene. So I got to use the first scene look to match that. But it's coming along, very happy with it. And yeah, it's looking good. But the thing is, guys, if you're gonna get this far in depth with it, you gotta have everything turned the right direction. Every bolt has to be facing the right direction. You wanna get the nuts facing in the right direction, everything. And that can be hard. This one's not facing the right direction because it's not fastened down yet. It's just kind of sitting in there because I'm not done with the top yet. I still have to make the tail piece that hangs out underneath here. And remember, this one does have an open back. It's the only one I've ever seen with an open back. Still have to cut bolts down on the inside and whatnot. But yeah, it's coming along. That's kind of a quick update for you guys. And remember, if you have any questions, you can always ask me. All right, so there it is. Just to let you guys know, that top handle, it took me about 4 days to do. Just to get the angles right, everything right with that. But I do want to cover a video at some point. I do want to cover, and I got my KOS ring on if you haven't noticed. I do want to cover, I know it's on the wrong finger. I know it's supposed to go on the middle finger, but like I said, it doesn't fit my middle finger. But anyways, I want to cover a video at some point where I talk about what's the best chainsaw to do for Ash vs. Evil Dead. Do you go with chainsaw specific, or do you go with just a general Ash vs. Evil Dead chainsaw to where you're taking all the best aspects of each one of the chainsaws and putting them into one? Because, you know, there could be things you like for one chainsaw to another, or things you don't like on one chainsaw but you like on another one. So which one is the better one to do? Which one should you tackle? I forgot to tackle a few things or talk about a few things on this one when it comes to the metric bolts. I'll cover that later. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it right now. It's just about done. And remember, December 6th to the 8th at Stafford Springs, Connecticut. Go check out Wicked Weekend. Go check it out. The Evil Dead cabin should be there. It should be there. Go take some photos with it. Talk to Brandon Berry. Kids are free. $25 admission a day. It's all weekend long. Bill Moseley, Kane Hodder, Child's Play reunion. Also, Cabin Fever reunion, which is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. The original Cabin Fever, not the remake. I don't like the remake. I think it's garbage. They had it perfect the first time around. My thoughts. I'm not dogging on the actors or anything, but I just thought the original was the best. And if you want more information about it, go online and look up The Wicked. I had to look at my paper. TheWickedVault.com. And go check it out, see if it's something you'll be interested in. And if anybody's on the Knights of Samaria page, definitely go check it out. If you haven't had a chance to see that cabin, now is the time to go see it. And I think it might be in another event later as well, and another con later down the road. When that happens, I will let you guys know. And I will cover more details once this thing is done, this chainsaw is done, and other various things. So until next time, you guys stay groovy.